Okay. So, what is this that I'm eating? All right. So, first of all, I am absolutely dying of anxiety. I have been very anxious all day. Oof. Uh, and I don't know if I should. It's pretty miserable. I really need to take a walk, but it's pouring rain outside. And I was kind of afraid of I was afraid to eat anything because I've had like this intestinal feels like I've got some blockage. And so when I eat, oh no, I just get like lots of gas and I feel like really bloated and just feels like things aren't going through properly. So I'm like scared to eat. But then but I'm really hungover, very hungover. I think I drank the last 2 days in a row. Uh yeah, I'm barely able to like think clearly to even state my thoughts clearly. I don't feel good. I'm like shaky. And this is exactly what happened before though was that I drank beer with because I threw up last night. I threw up a lot last night and I don't know if it's because I drank too much. I guess it's definitely because I drank too much, but there was no like dizziness and like spinning around and like all that. Like I just threw up and then like passed out for like 12 hours straight, which is very strange for me. I never pass out. But anyways, I'm just like absolutely dying of anxiety, just so fucking anxious. So I had to force myself to go eat something and do this now as a desperate attempt to not be anxious. Look at all this shit I have in here. I really need to throw this stuff away. Um, So yeah, the reason I was drinking though is that it's not like I was just drinking by myself. Like I went to a to a bar, and then I didn't realize that the bar, this is like a new bar, and then I was talking with the owner, and the owner was talking about, oh, we can like work together. I can help him. I can like make him a website. I brought him a smart card yesterday for the reviews, and then it was this girl's birthday, and this girl actually like she works for the county government, and she was really nice to talk to. She's very smart. It was honestly very relieving to talk to a smart woman for once. I mean, she's married and her husband was there and everything, so that's not like, but it was like, "Oh, they do exist." Like, when you talk to somebody and you're like, "Oh, you're smart enough that, like, if you were in my life, you would make my life easier." Uh, Whereas I'm so used to the Americans I know that are like, it's just so obvious that, like, they're just a burden. They can't help you in any way, they can only make things more difficult for you. But she was immediately, like, talking about how she runs, like, this digital nomad program, and maybe I could get a digital nomad visa. But then I think I don't meet the requirements because you have to prove income. But I was like, is it possible I can work for your county government? Because you probably need like this program. It would be good idea to have a foreigner. If your idea is to like attract global talent to live in Taiwan, people that work online, then having a foreigner in the project would probably help a lot. But yeah, I was feeling miserable. I smoked like a lot. There's a pack of cigarettes right there. I smoked a lot the last 2 days. I don't know why. I don't know why I decided to smoke. I didn't smoke at all for the first few weeks here. But only when I was drinking. Like I'm not smoking. Anyways, so I mean the thing is about the it's good to like it's really good for me to be meeting people and to be hanging out with people and stuff. And I had like gotten too far into like just information cascade land. Uh, but how is it that like this place is totally quiet, just completely silent all day, every day? But then as soon as I start trying to do a live stream, people are talking. So anyways, yeah. So those were I met a whole bunch of people last night. They were great people. I had a good time with them, but I did drink too much and ended up throwing up and smoked too many cigarettes, and I regret it all. I don't regret meeting the people, but I regret the drinking too much and smoking too many cigarettes, um, and I just hadn't eaten much because of the thing I was talking. And also, like, I had an oyster omelet. So I don't know. When you're dealing with seafood, seafood is always potentially sketchy, especially oysters. They were like fresh from the sea oysters. So like, and they like were barely cooked. Like I basically had a bunch of raw oysters, had a raw oyster omelet. So that very much could have that was the only thing I ate that day. So that could have contributed to the ultimate vomiting, which I thought this is gross, but I thought that like in my mind I had just like threw up a little tiny bit in the sink and it was just like bile. But then when I woke up and looked, I was like, oh, there's vomit everywhere. Not good. Anyways, but yeah, when I'm looking through the SEO videos, this is the other thing that's got me anxious is I just feel like I can't win. For starters, one like what's been going through my head a lot, I keep thinking about this stupid little blurb on I saw on Instagram that was that which I think I was talking about in like my last video, but that this guy, not this guy, that people that drink. It's specifically that it was talking about construction, so who knows if this is generally applicable, but anyways, the idea is that if you drink that the people that were drinking and coming to work hungover were, ultimately the ones that got promoted and then eventually ran their own company. And there's bunch of different assuming that's true, there's a bunch of different potential explanations for it, but, the one that they said was that it's because by working hungover they were forced to get good at working under bad conditions, basically. And it just kind of stuck with me. Like this thought, this idea has been circling through my mind ever since I read that like a few days ago. And I started thinking to myself, stop waiting for everything to be perfect. Stop waiting for everything to be perfect. And then as I was thinking that, like I realized just the decisions I was making, the things I was doing, uh, changed radically. Like just my day to day, what should I do now? What should I do now? What should I do now? Uh, changed very radically. And that's part of the reason I went to the bar and talked to that guy. And he just happened to have that. The woman was there specifically to meet me, but I don't have a phone, so they had no way of contacting me. So they just he just invited her to like come over and in hopes that I would show up, and I did show up, luckily. But I don't think I would have if I wasn't saying to myself, "Stop waiting for everything to be perfect." But I do feel this sense of conflict, where, like, part of me wants to go into hyper focus mode or stay I've been in hyper focus mode. So part of me wants to stay in hyper focus mode. But at the same time, um, it is good to meet people, and especially people that ultimately do have the capacity to help you. Uh, and I just feel like I can't win because like if I hyper focus, um, I'll miss out on that, which is ultimately life. That's what life is meeting people and having relationships and you know, that's what life is. So I'm like withdrawn from actual life, basically, um, which was supposed to be like a temporary thing while I learned this field or whatever. But now it's become a very long temporary thing to the point where it's sort of like a lot of these habits of like avoiding people uh, is like so ingrained at this point. But that's part of that whole saying like stop waiting for things to be perfect. It's just sort of I don't know. Anyway, so So I just feel kind of bad because it's like if I just focus on SEO, do nothing but SEO, I'm missing out on all that, you know? And if I don't just hyper focus on SEO stuff, I also feel bad because I feel like that's my ticket to ultimately having income and a good stable income and a company. And I've actually kind of been away from like directly working on chatbots for kind of a while now. And if I'm going to get back to it, and also like, is it really a good idea? Is the way to meet people to just go out and meet people, or is the way to meet people that I should be calling people on the phone, calling like SEO agencies on the phone, meeting founders, talking with as many founders as possible, having coffee meetings with people or Zoom meetings with people, uh, assuming that that's what I want to do, not that I have to do that, but that that's where I get my interaction with other humans as opposed to at a bar. And I totally can work for this guy and he's willing to help me or whatever. And, but, but anyways, my point of the reason I said that is because like on one hand it's good, it's great. I need that. I need something like that. And on the other hand, it's like, does that mean I'm gonna be at the bar constantly drinking like every night, drinking and smoking every night? But I mean, last night that I was there, the two guys working there, they didn't drink at all. I mean, not last night, but the night before, right? I drank just, but they're just, slowly sipping on a beer by myself, not this, punk glasses and Gambay drinking. Which is weird. I still don't really understand how Taiwanese drink, to be honest. I don't understand it because it's like they clearly don't drink like Americans, where it's just like I drink mine and you drink yours, and we don't really pay any attention to each other's drinking. Uh, but they also don't drink like Chinese, where it's like we always have to, we always got to cheers, and like we're paying attention to how much you drink and how low or high is your cup and all like and like this game, this like very in your face drinking game that Chinese play. So I'm not sure like where on that spectrum, like where is it? Where are we supposed to be? Um, because I do like I have the muscle memory of playing that game, of playing that game aggressively. Uh, but I don't see that that's necessary here in Taiwan. I think it would actually be super inappropriate. People would be like, "What are you doing?" So and also I don't want to play that game because that game, uh, even if you win, you lose that game. Everybody loses in the end. So yeah. So yeah, I don't feel too amazing about it, but I just feel like um I don't know. I have to keep hyper focusing on SEO and figure out how I can, if I'm gonna work with a bar or something like that, it has to come after I have done a whole day's worth of SEO stuff. I don't know. I just feel this kind of like pressure because time pressure about that bar thing because it's sort of like okay, there's something good going on here, but now it's like I feel like I gotta keep going there. I have to go there. I have to talk with the owner. I gotta keep talking with the owner. I have to understand what's going on, and I don't have a working phone right now. So The only way to and it's freaking raining outside, so it's not like just take a casual stroll, and if I happen to stroll in that direction, I'll pop in and say hi to him. Like, that is not something that can happen today. Anyways, well, with the whole, stop waiting for everything to be perfect idea, I do feel a lot better with, some food and some caffeine and some sugar in my body, but, I am still, like, dizzy. And honestly, I really just wanna go for a long walk and then, think things through and then focus on I really wanna go back to hyper focusing on SEO, to be honest, but I just don't know if I disappear for, like, 3, 4 days, if that's what ends up happening, and then I go back to the bar, like, can I pick it up where we left off? Or are they gonna be like, "Oh, we didn't know that, like, you disappear randomly." That's gonna change how we think about working with you. Which is not like I mean, it's, not that I don't know that the owner thinks, like, in those terms, but, like, it's just like a, just like an intuitive, subconscious sort of, um but yeah, basically, I just have to say, like, I have to work, if he has which, I mean, it's not like he's given me, like, a clear, like, "This is what I want you to do, and this is how much I'm gonna pay you, and this is," so, uh okay, anyways, what I'm trying to do here, because I'm not gonna wait for everything to be perfect, and thread that I haven't made a video of yet. Anti-gravity is trending. Right, I think we're pretty close to I think this is it right here. What the hell? This is a really short one, so I don't know if this is it. Most websites are designed backwards. They start with visual themes. Did I unmute myself? Yes, I hello, 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 hello. Wait. All right, I think I'm good. All right. Most websites are designed backwards. They start with visual themes, templates, page layouts, and color palettes. What they don't start with is structure. SEO is a structural decision, one that has to be made before design, before copy, and before a single page goes live. AI modernization as a capability remains even when individuals change. The workflow is designed so AI supported steps happen consistently, predictably, and in the right sequence. The company gets faster because the operating model is faster, not because a few people are doing clever things on the side. All right. Yeah, that's just, I just happen to agree with that statement. Wait, I think I sort of skipped over this whole SEO is a structural decision thing. Um, well, yeah, I just, the number of dumb things I see about AI is just insane. So, you know, it's just some people are like, yeah, we're adopting AI. And it's like, no, your employees are using it. Okay, SEO instructional decision, one that has to be made before design, before copy, and before a single page goes live. You know what? I'm gonna go to the bathroom. Okay. I am feeling pretty garbage. I feel like a garbage person from a garbage country. What is going on here? Is this literally okay? This has got to be a big old thread. Oh my God, I do not feel okay. And I don't know that sleeping is going to help. Oh, it would be nice. What would help a lot is if it wasn't raining outside and I could just go for a walk. That would be great. Tool vendors must shift towards offering APIs and MCP servers to allow agencies to integrate proprietary data directly into their own in-house. You know what? I don't know if I can do this right now. Can I do this right now? Should I force myself to do this because of the thing about the construction workers? Or should I just I don't know. Uh Tool vendors must shift toward offering APIs and MCP servers to allow agencies to integrate proprietary data directly into their own in-house AI tools and LLMs. Right. So the idea there is just that like the main yeah, I just was thinking about anxiety. Anxiety. I mean, if like the thing is like the way I'm talking right now is like I'm sort of like constrained, and then I'm talking quickly because I'm all up in my head, like as which is where I typically live. That's what I typically. It's my typical state of being. But just now I was like, for half a second it was like, what if I don't talk so fast and don't. What if I talk with my chest for once, like not like intentionally, but just in a normal, natural way instead of being like all tense and like hyper, just sort of not trying to go at the speed of light, just trying to move through things. And I don't know. I don't know where I was going with that, but I just wanted to explain the pause there, why I was so. But at the same time, I mean, here's the thing that I just keep on coming back to over and over again, uh, is that I need to get this done. I need to get this done. And by get this done for me, what done means is that I get to the point where when I'm looking at these SEO articles, I'm looking at SEO videos, there's pretty much no new concepts. Like everything is something I already know about. And then I just don't need to spend so much time uh, looking through these videos, summarizing these videos, posting about these videos, and the same with articles. And then I can spend more time doing things for people. So the more there's no reason to just get this done because I'm shouldn't be that far away from the point. Like if I just keep hyper focusing on SEO for like another, probably 10 days, that'll be it. I'll be good on SEO like forevermore. Um, so any attempts, but I do like desperately need, like if I had people in my life, like a girlfriend, for example, that would be amazing. Then maybe I wouldn't have to be so fucking anxious all the time. Um, because that is, I think, part of the anxiety. But that's sort of like there's two ways to relieve the anxiety. One is to not be isolated, to be around other people, and then the other is to get work done. And it's kind of like I have to choose one or the other. Anyways, I guess my point is that regardless of how tense, stressed, and hyper focused I am, and how bad that comes off when you try to interact with people, and it's like so obvious that you're like in this weird state of mind. Um, I just need to be there. That's where I need to stay till I get past this little chunk of SEO stuff, which that makes me because what I typically do, this is why this whole like stop waiting for everything to be perfect. Why that was such like a revelation for me is because I typically do wait for everything to be perfect. It seems crazy to say, but it's 100% true. Like if I'm not rested, I get fully rested. If I need to go for a walk, I go for a long walk. If I, like, but I don't know that that's bad. It's very expensive time wise. Instead of just like just do it, just do the fucking thing. But it's like no, I have to wait until I feel like doing it, until I'm rested and you know, whatever. And until then I'm not going to do it because I'm not going to force myself to do it because I need to like be fully engaged in it in order to accomplish anything. I need to be fully engaged in the process. I guess is the idea. Um so with that in mind, I should just go try to get some sleep. And maybe by the time I wake up, it won't be raining, and then I can go for a walk, and then I can, or because I want to run my own construction company one day, I can keep pushing through and reading this thread, even though I'm not in perfect condition right now. It's a tough decision. The problem with that little mantra of stop waiting for everything to be perfect is that there's no limit to how bad things are where that is still like irrelevant. It's like, okay, something this like, you're hungover, doesn't matter. Like stop waiting for everything to be perfect. You're sick, doesn't matter. Stop waiting for everything to get perfect. You got hit by a car, doesn't matter. Stop waiting for everything. Just keep, like no matter how bad things get, it's always like, yeah, well, stop waiting for everything to be perfect. Just keep moving forward. Focus on the process. But it's especially like with this, with it, where I'm trying to learn about SEO, and it's like if I'm not well rested enough and thinking clearly enough and to actually retain this information and make it usable to me, then I'm not accomplishing anything here. I'm just wasting time. Now that wouldn't be the case if you're like making marketing material, doing sales, or even coding, or like, yeah, I don't know what I'm trying to say. I don't know what I'm trying to say. But anyways, I will read through this thread. And then if I feel like this is a bad way to do things, I will not force myself to do things like this in the future. I will just, I don't know, but I really need to never drink and never smoke cigarettes ever again. That would be nice. I don't know. The thing, it's like If I'm, by myself or, like, just sort of light interaction with other people, then that's fine. Like, I'll drink a little bit, I'll have a cigarette, that's fine. But it's when I'm, like, with a group of people, it's like I think it was just overstimulating. Honestly, last night was pretty overstimulating, um, which is weird to say. I don't know. I think I am very nervous about being, like, acting appropriately for Taiwanese people in a way, because like, I don't wanna treat them like mainlanders, and I don't wanna treat them like Americans, but I'm not entirely sure, and it's like when I'm interacting with people, I almost feel like I'm like, "That was good, like, I did a good job, like, I'm good at this now." But I feel like even though that's what's going through my head, like, there's still, like, an undercurrent of being, like, terrified that I'm doing everything wrong and that people just, like, dislike me for some reason that I can't figure out, and that or something like that. I don't know exactly what it is that I'm worried about, but and that kind of puts me in this passive mode. It's kind of interesting is that I was thinking when I was thinking that repeating this mantra to myself yesterday, and I think the day before as well, of stop waiting for everything to be perfect. Um, and I kind of sort of realized that I thought maybe like I needed to come to Taiwan and I needed to like specifically to learn that lesson or like to unlearn the lesson because I really crashed out the first time I came to Taiwan. Like psychologically, I crashed out so hard, and thinking more and more that that had to do with being at NTU and being around a bunch of people that were very ambitious, very disciplined, hardworking people, but also that like they had stable lives. They weren't like trying to create a life on the fly like I was. um, you know, like if you're at a hostel where everybody's like a dumbass and they're not hardworking or disciplined, but they are creating their life on the fly, then it's easy to I don't know what I'm trying to say there, but um, I don't know. It was just, and then the even much bigger thing than the culture or the environment of the school was that was just me taking on more than I could handle and then crashing out and then thinking that like the solution to that is to carefully plan everything out from now on, which I know people that know me think I probably don't carefully plan things out, but and I don't like make schedules and follow like set alarms and stuff like that or like, but I do like on a strategic level think about conflicts of time and time investments, and I am very reluctant to ever commit myself to more than more than one thing because of that experience. And I don't know. I've kind of felt like I needed to come to Taiwan and realize that maybe I had learned the wrong lesson from that time, or that if I had learned the right lesson, it was the right lesson for the time for then, and it's no longer serving me. And that being here in the place where I originally learned it would is like the best way to like unlearn it or move beyond it because you can apply. And I think I did realize that like it's really is, and it's kind of like when I was at the restaurant, the hot pot restaurant, um when I like at first people wouldn't talk to me in Chinese. I didn't know why they would not talk to me in Chinese. And then I started making a point to like speak Chinese like as badly as possible, intentionally as badly as possible. Seems like every time I start talking, there's some water noise, and if I don't talk, it doesn't happen. But as soon as I start talking, it happens again. What was I talking about? I gotta close that door. That'll help a little bit. Right. So when I was at the Hotbot, and I at first I didn't know why, and then I like in retrospect what I realized was that, and then once I started like intentionally, I was intentionally talking to everybody in bad Chinese, like the worst Chinese I possibly could, just making intentional mistakes. And what I realized was that like the way I was talking, where I was like thinking about what I was going to say and like trying to make it all perfect, trying not to like that, and in my mind I was like demonstrating to them that like I have a good grasp of Chinese, and therefore it's okay for them to speak to me in Chinese. But what I was actually demonstrating was that like I don't know, it's just like you get a weird vibe from somebody that's like it's not you're not being natural, like and you're like pausing because I kept pausing to like think before, and it's like so once I started speaking like intentionally bad Chinese, there's no pause because I'm not worried about making any mistakes. And then people were like, "Oh my god, I had no idea your Chinese was so good," when I was like intentionally speaking badly. Anyways, so so I feel like it's a similar situation here in terms of like it's not about Chinese, it's not a language thing, but it's just like about trying to always do the right thing, like trying to always be perfect in the way that I interact with people. And it ends up making my interactions just unnatural and uh, just putting too much stress and emphasis on them, and I don't know. And then once I start thinking to myself like stop waiting for everything to be perfect, it's just like oh now I have permission to like interact with people and like fuck it up, and that's okay. And then what ends up happening is you don't fuck it up as much, honestly, because just because people see that you're just being who you are, and that's a good thing. That it's not you're not putting on some sort of an act for them. So I don't know, maybe that's something I needed to learn or something. Like it's oh my god, I kind of feel like I'm gonna throw up. It's something I need to unlearn, maybe. But I definitely, I don't know. I just feel like there was something about the way everything in Taipei, everything in NTU, like everybody was very like organized, and they were like careful and organized, and that was like, and it seemed like that's the reason why they got into the good university was because they are that way. And so I like took the lesson I took away is like that's the right way to be. That's the correct way to live your life is to like be very careful and very organized. Um, and I'm not sure that that's really true. And I'm not sure that that's. I definitely don't know if that's serving me at this moment in time. Anyway, so yeah, so if you want your MCPs to be useful, they must be able to integrate with proprietary data. I really need a phone. I need a working phone. This is messed up. Anyways, okay, so these people say, while powerful, it's difficult to scale. Use it for advanced schema. Use it for high value pages where you're struggling to move from the bottom of page one to the top. Yeah, I don't know why they're saying that, to be honest. It's not that it's difficult to scale, it's that they have not set up tools to scale it. but you can. Many people spend hundreds or thousands of dollars on links only to have them fall off months later without noticing. Interesting. Yeah, so you need to keep track of your links, your backlinks. This one jumps to sales. Instead of always be closing, always be disarming. Approach leads with curiosity and empathy rather than high pressure sales. Did I already do this? Did I already read through this on a live stream? I feel like I did. Users can find and buy products like specific luggage directly through an AI chat interface without ever leaving Google. That is definitely the way things are going. That is the trend, and that is part of the whole thing where people are going to be more and more comfortable with the idea that like most of your online interactions happen with a chatbot, regardless of whether that's voice or text. And therefore, it's not like you leave the chatbot once you get the information and then go somewhere else to do things. Like you do things within the chatbot, like make purchases, for example. And so, therefore, more and more people will say, like, instead of having a website, I want a chatbot. And that's sort of the whole thesis of what I'm doing here. Okay, so when you're developing a minimum viable product, ignore nice things users say. Uh, I definitely already did this one time, didn't I? Oh my God. All right, whatever. And fix it immediately instead of what is a schema writer, schema run? It crawls the top 10 ranking pages on Google for your target keyword, and then it extracts the entities, people, places, and things or concepts from them. And that way you can then use those entities in your content so that you too should rank in the top 10. That's the idea. Pick your top three highest margin services, identify the top 20 questions prospects ask before buying, create the best page on the internet for each question to make it specific, credible, and easy to cite. Yeah, I would push it. Where was I? Pick your top three highest margin services, identify the top 20 questions prospects ask before buying, create the best page on the internet for each question to make it specific, credible, and easy to cite. Okay, I read that again and it still doesn't make any sense to me. What are we talking about here? Identify the top 20 questions prospects ask before buying. Okay, then create the best page on the internet. That's a good idea. So make a page for each question. After the blog is written, the workflow provides interactive buttons in the chat interface. Right. That's something I was thinking for my blog writer bot that you can have it should have buttons. And just generally speaking, my bots should be better at providing buttons. Although honestly, as I say this about the bots and like what am I trying to say? It's less and less feels like something I'm still doing. I feel more and more like I'm just done with the chatbots. And not that I want to be done with them or like it's not like oh fuck these things. It's not like that. It's just that I need to go in another direction and then come back to them when it makes sense to come back to them. Like go in another direction in terms of like getting other work or another job. And then I can always utilize the chatbots uh, when it becomes obvious that there's something to utilize. All right. wish I didn't drink last night. I mean, I just wish I would have, like, slowly had a couple of beers, not the whole thing. Anyways, I don't know. And the owner of the bar also, like, he, like, kinda passed out in front of us, and I didn't say goodbye to anybody. I just went home, and I didn't offer to pay for anything, either at the bar or the karaoke, and I don't know if they're, like, trying to contact me because I don't have a phone. Anyways. Google is replacing traditional local packs with AI local packs, which are currently appearing on mobile devices in the US for about 8% of tracked keywords. These new packs are devastating because they show only two businesses instead of three. There's no call button. The rankings are different. And so you might think you're doing okay, but that's because the, the tracking that you're doing of your rankings doesn't uh, doesn't show you what's actually showing up in these AI local packs. I just thought this was interesting because this guy in the video for Go High Level, he talked about building a directory, which was and like establishing connection with the owner based on like confirming their directory info. Yeah. All right. This one is the one James Dooley and Jason Barnard. Yeah, that was I think the first time I found them, but they cut up that interview into like five different videos, so I've seen a little bit of it every day. Jason Barnard, founder of CaliCube, talked about the critical role of brand entity SEO in 2026. Barnard, who has been working with Knowledge Graph since 2015, explains how they have moved from a niche topic to the fundamental foundation of modern SEO and AI assisted search. Many obsess over getting a Wikipedia page, but Wikipedia is tiny compared to Google's knowledge graph. 6 million articles versus 54 billion entities. I just got distracted. I was thinking about how, part of me just wants to just start drinking all the time and just be out socializing constantly, and like that's all I do, and that would be a good thing. Like that would be what I'm missing in life, and that I'm forcing myself to focus on this SEO stuff right now when it's not really the highest the best thing I can do for myself is really to meet people, not to like download this SEO knowledge. But it's funny because the last time I had that thought was also the last time I was in Taiwan. It was in like 2006 or whatever. I don't know, because then in Macau it was about being good at poker instead of meeting people. And then in Zhuhai it was about yeah, it was like there's nobody I can meet that can help me start my business basically. But I don't know, it does kind of feel like meeting people and then they introduce you to other people and then they introduce you to other people. And the next thing you know, you have a whole entire network of people that are actually able to help you. Anyways, okay. So local organizations often list their sponsors on their websites, right? So you can sponsor like a local sports team or something in order to get a backlink. Wikipedia is tiny compared to Google's knowledge graph, 6 million articles versus 54 billion entities. Sure, but like each article also has many different entities in it. So that's not really a fair comparison, I would say, right? I don't know. I guess each article is a specific topic. If you're saying each entity is like, I don't know. Oh, yeah, I think there's entities within entities, but there's no articles within articles. So it's not a, you're not comparing the same thing. I think. I don't know. So yeah, if you sponsor a local organization, it tells Google that your business is a legitimate, active part of the local community. Many e-commerce sites neglect schema markup. You must provide complete, accurate, and up-to-date structured feeds so AI doesn't have to scrape your site manually. Many e-commerce sites support UCP-style APIs that allow AI agents to query your system directly. Okay, yeah. So Universal Commercial Protocol or Commerce Protocol, probably. I don't know, but whatever. That's just interesting to me. And for now, I'm not doing any e-commerce, so it doesn't really matter. But okay, Anthropic introduced a tool search, which allows Claude to dynamically load only the tools it needs for a specific query. That led to an 85% reduction in token usage. Larger models are rigid and resistant to new facts via reg, where smaller models are more volatile and easily swayed. Large models are more influenced by repetition than logic. Paraphrasing a weak or incoherent or incorrect argument 3 times is more likely to cause an answer to flip than providing a single independent factual evidence. Models cannot accurately identify which documents actually influence their decisions. Okay, so yeah, when you ask them for their reasoning, this is, what they say is, oh, yeah, and it gets into that right here, that they lie. Like they don't actually understand their own reasoning, and they will make up some bullshit that seems plausible to you. Uh, and that, yeah, and then they don't actually get the logic of things. If an attacker knows that threshold for snapping a model state is repeating nonsense 5 times, they can force a model to change its mind regardless of the facts. Once the model state flips, it will use its superior language capabilities to generate a highly convincing but entirely fake logical derivation for why it changed its mind. Chain of thought is not a window into the model's thinking. It is often just paint over the cracks to make heuristic jumps appear logical to human users. Look for industries that lack price transparency, like home remodeling or niche services, as a viable strategy for building a new directory in 2026. Yeah, I definitely remember talking about this in the last live stream. I'm just repeating myself here, but this time more slowly and more hungover and more stupidly. Um, but actually, SEO is a industry that lacks price transparency, and that's why I would like to uh, make an SEO directory and learn as much as possible about white label SEO so that, what are these options here? Um, yeah, to learn as much as possible about white label SEO and try to get the money. Just try to get clear about how much money things cost is the idea. All right, so let's try to move on to 118. Huh. Well, here's one from 118, but it looks like it's only two. No. Uh, well, there we go. All right. Yeah, let me just end this here and I'll leave this open so that next time I can do a live stream, I just pick it up right here.